Hey guys, and welcome back to the podcast. Today I want to go through Proverbs 2 here. If I can make my way back to the top. um, so from Proverbs 1 to Proverbs 2, what I want to say is pay attention to what the proverbs are, who the author is, and exactly who he's writing these to. So the proverbs are the wisdom of Solomon, son of David, the King David, and these are written to Solomon's son. So and I'm using New Living Translation today. So beginning in verse 1, it says, "My child, listen to what I say and treasure my commands." This treasuring, this storing up in his mind, like keep them there, treasure them, store them up. Tune your ears to wisdom. Okay, listen and tune. Like tuning a radio station, or if you're old enough to remember having to tune in a TV station, and concentrate on understanding. But why this listening and tuning? Well, so between the the chapters of Proverbs, wisdom gets personified as feminine. You might say, well, that's kind of weird that wisdom gets personified as feminine, but I don't think so. The listening part is because with all the background noise, with everything going on, the listening and tuning, the tuning especially, is like you have to be able to filter out, because what do you do when you tune something? It's like it can only be this narrow bandwidth, right? So all the outside noise, you have to be able to filter all that out and tune your hearing towards wisdom, because back in 1 it says that wisdom is crying out from the top of the city wall. But how can you hear wisdom with all the background noise going on? And the personification of it as feminine makes sense because of the audience of the author. So he's talking to his young son here, and to personify that as female as feminine is not really hard to understand, because there's a pursuit aspect here, right? And we'll get to that part, but there's a pursuit aspect of going after wisdom. Right? So to personify it as feminine makes sense from Solomon's standpoint, given who he's writing this to, and he wants his son to pursue wisdom. Cry out for insight and ask for understanding. Search for them as you would for silver. Seek them like hidden treasures. Again, there's this going after, this seeking, this pursuing wisdom. Then you will understand what it means to, and there's that word again, fear the Lord. That gets translated every single time as fear. And it bothers me a little bit because I don't think it's right. I think it's reverence, respect, awe. But I guess you could say that at its base, it's fear, but not the way that we think of it as fear. Then you will understand what it means to fear the Lord, and you will gain knowledge of God. For the Lord grants wisdom. Now this is what Solomon prayed for, that was given to Solomon, was wisdom. From his mouth come knowledge and understanding. He grants a treasure, that word again, treasure, of common sense to the honest. He is a shield to those who walk with integrity. He guards the paths of the just and protects those who are faithful to him. Then you will understand what is right, just, and fair, and you will find the right way to go. For wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will fill you with joy. Wise choices will watch over you. Understanding will keep you safe. Wisdom will save you from evil people, from those whose words are twisted. These men turn from the right way to walk down dark paths. They take pleasure in doing wrong, and they enjoy the twisted ways of evil. Their actions are crooked, and their ways are wrong. More personification of feminine here. Wisdom will save you from the immoral woman, from the seductive words of the promiscuous woman. She has abandoned her husband and ignores the covenant she made before God. Entering her house leads to death. It is the road to the grave. The man who visits her is doomed. He will never reach paths of life. Okay, so in chapter 1 of Proverbs, we have wisdom personified as feminine, crying out for those who are listening. At the beginning of chapter 2 here, we have Solomon telling his son to tune his ears and his listening toward wisdom. Like, filter out all the background noise and listen, because wisdom is crying out. But then we have the adversary of wisdom here, which is, again, personified feminine, the immoral woman, the promiscuous woman, as it says here. It's not literally a woman. Obviously, it's personified feminine, but it's not a woman. It's the altar to wisdom, right? This is what we see in the garden. The serpent enters the garden and he promises Eve the knowledge, but not the wisdom. So there's no discernment there of what to do with the knowledge. Now, knowledge is not bad, as we see through Proverbs here, but there's this altar, this other that is not wisdom. It's antithetical to wisdom, right? You might say it's stupidity. It's to be the opposite of seeking wisdom. It's how can I put it? It's like if a path diverges, this way goes to wisdom, and this way goes to a road that goes straight to hell. Like paved with good intentions, but goes straight to hell. And he's warning his son that this other thing is very seductive and will lead him down that path going to hell, but that if he tunes his listening and towards wisdom, he will find wisdom, but not to go down the other path. And that's why he has to tune into that, to be able to hear it. And that's why I said, like, tuning in a radio station. Well, now we have digital tuners, but back in the day you had the little knob you had to turn, and it was getting that FM band or AM band just right, so that you didn't get bleed over from another station, or you didn't get static. You got the sound that you were supposed to hear coming from that station. And the same thing with TV. They used to have UHF and VHF tuners. Like you would change the channel, but then you had this fine-tuning adjustment knob so you could get it just right. Or you had the rabbit ear antennas, and you put the aluminum foil on them, or you turned them just the right way and did this and that in order to tune that in. And that's what Solomon's talking about with his son here. He's saying, like, get that fine-tuning in order so that when wisdom cries out, you'll hear her and you'll go in her direction instead of the other direction of this other entity here, seen as the promiscuous woman that's going to lead you straight down to hell. And that's why I don't think it's a problem personifying it as female, because he understands that this sort of language his son will get. Like, oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Like, this would be a good wife. This one over here is just a promiscuous woman. She's left her husband. Like, so if I go that direction, no. If I go this direction, yes. So follow the steps of the good and stay on the paths of the righteous, where only the godly will live in the land, and those with integrity will remain in it. But the wicked will be removed from the land, and the treacherous will be uprooted. That's what he's telling him here. Like, this direction over here, there's a good woman over here, right? And her name is Wisdom. But then over here is the other one, this unnamed one, but of ill repute and very seductive. It's like, don't go that way, because that's gonna put you in the camp with the wicked that will be removed from the earth and cut off from the land. But over here, abiding in wisdom will keep you in the land and keep you as a man with integrity. That's all I have for this one, guys. Really looking forward to chapter 3, but let me know in the comments or reach out to me on Discord, or let me know what you think about this, if you want me to continue the Proverbs or not. Thanks, guys. See you next time.